Shalom, shalom. Erev Shabbat Kodesh, Erev Simchat Torah. We've just finishing up the last few moments of the holy festival of Sukkot, and there is a prayer for saying goodbye to the Sukkah. It's in most of the Sidurim. And you might find it odd that we say goodbye to a Sukkah, but what are we saying goodbye to? A building, a structure, a few boards and sheets and decorations? Or are we saying goodbye to a certain aspect of God's presence in our lives? Saying goodbye to a blessed time when this world was put aside for a few days and we had a tremendous festival here in Eretz Israel. Last night at the Kotel was like 500,000 people. I don't know how the old city could absorb everybody. And we're saying goodbye to an aspect of God's will, but there's a new one coming on, the dancing with the Torah. And of course, Shabbat Kodesh. And, after 33 years of trying to keep these mitzvot, I have no idea how people lived, how I lived before Shabbat, before Sukkot, before Simchat Torah. But we made it here, we got here, and there is this bittersweetness about leaving the Sukkah, saying that prayer of goodbye. It is the sweetness of an experience, of a relationship, of something beloved that is moving on. There is a goodbye involved. There is a certain sense of loss. But before we can sink into that too deeply, we're going to be lighting Shabbos candles and Yom Tov candles. And we're going to dance and sing and celebrate the Torah itself. So you see this booth that we're sitting in, this porch that's been turned into our home for a few days, it is one aspect of God's will. And then the next is the Torah and the dancing. And if you follow the Kabbalah of this month called Tishrei, begins with Rosh Hashanah, the head, the beginning. And then we move to Yom Kippur, the atonement, the forgiveness. And we're coming down to the etrog here, the beautiful etrog, which is the heart. And then we come down to the legs, which is the dancing for the Torah. So the whole month of Tishrei is really a mapping of the light of God as it comes down into the world through our bodies, from our head to our mouth, to our heart, to our hands and our feet. And if you notice, the Kabbalah is doing this over and over throughout the Jewish year. This mapping of the light of God through His will, through the mitzvot that are written in the Torah. And when you start to see how it all fits together, it's so perfect, it's astounding. It's so perfect to make our lives both holy and physical, mundane, if you will, to do the things we need to do so that we can have these times together. Because if we don't have all the other days of the year that we need to work and exercise and eat well and do other mitzvot, then we wouldn't have these great festivals. So everything is really bound perfectly together. And we'll miss the Sukkah, but we'll think about next year's Sukkah. And we will look forward to the learning of the Torah again, a new cycle, a new beginning to a very old story. Shabbat Shalom, Hag Sameach.